A new business needs to have the entire ownership of the person who is starting it. His sweat, his blood needs to be the one that should give the impetus. You join the family business, do what is happening, take it to the next level. Good. If you have a new, fresh thought, what you need to do is to build capital for that fresh thought, build a business proposal, build a capital on your own, and start afresh. The whole idea behind that entire 5 years, 2005 2010, was to build a capital enough to start a business like this. Yeah, trust me, it was never easy. Not a day, I still remember, not a day went by without my clothes getting black on those 6 months. We completed every single project on the date allocated to us. Not a single day delayed.
For the future generation, we are going to do a big deal of favor.
I have traveled to more than 20 countries across 4 continents in the world.
Hello everybody, welcome to Entrepreneurship Simplified, where brilliant ideas and the biggest leaders await you to simplify entrepreneurship and leadership through the real-life experiences of failures and successes, so that you can take these lessons to boost your career and grow to realize your dreams much faster. And this show is being done in association with Young Indians. Young Indians is a movement for Indian youth to converge, lead, co-create and influence India's future. YI is playing a proactive role in India's development process. If you want to take part of India's growth and be successful, YI is a place to be. Bear in mind, this show has no script. Everything you hear on the show is heart-to-heart with real-life experiences with all these leaders. Today's guest is from home furnishing industry, a third-generation entrepreneur who hold passion for the art of homemaking, which started in 1952 in Trivandrum. While he continued to maintain the legacy of the business and its values, he added a contemporary twist to home decor by incorporating life-inspired as part of overall business. A well-known name in Kerala for home decor, Paul & Sons received Best Display Award by Manorama Publications Veedu, Inside Outside Award by Pavilion Design. He rebuilt the entire manufacturing unit all over when it caught on fire a couple of years back without impacting the business. He is a member of Kerala Management Association and also active in philanthropic activities through organizations like Young Indians. Help me to welcome Nimish John, Managing Director of Paul & Sons Interior and Chairman of Life Inspired. Hi Nimish, how are you doing? You've been working in big companies like City Group, and you've traveled to the overseas for actually getting your career started. So what made you to come back to the family business?
This whole journey started in, I think, 1999 or 2000 rather, when I was doing my engineering. And my father constantly used to say that, we've come to this level, and the next step in this journey is to bring an entire home experience to a client that walks into our store. There's a nascent thought that if you select the furniture, you actually give a lot of other things with it. So how do you match each of these items to each of the detail that would enhance the look and feel of the furniture and the room? So this was way back around 20-21 years ago. And, in as far as that thought was concerned, when it comes to this industry, just too naive and too nascent in those times. That is where my dream actually started. And, I told my dad, I have this thought, and maybe after my engineering, and I would like to actually pursue this thought, pursue this dream and start building it up. So my father, in fact, and I think this has been a tradition. His father did the same thing to him, wherein they all said, what he said is, you want to actually pursue the family business. You join the family business, do what is happening, take it to the next level. Good. But if you have a new, fresh thought, what you need to do is to build capital for that fresh thought, build a business proposal, build a capital on your own and start afresh. I had this option of joining a couple of banks, and I had that option, plus I had an option with City Financials. And City Financial was this business which was covering a lot of remote locations and a very aggressive business in those days. The whole idea behind that entire 5 years, 2005 2010, was to build a capital enough to start a business like that. 5 years not only gave me this capital, but also gave me a confidence and an understanding on how businesses are to be run, not just into people management, but process re-engineering, bringing up talents, etc. So I did those 5 years. I built my capital as well as the foundation of that, of my dream. And it took me until 2010 to realize it's like a long journey of 10 years to actually put the seed on the ground. I had the seed, and I had to put it, I had to sow it. And that was what I did in 2010 when I started off with the first aspect of Pollens and Interiors. So answering your question, the reason behind me working and the inspiration behind me working was, yes, my father's inherent thought that, a new business needs to have the entire ownership of the person who is starting it. His sweat, his blood needs to be the one that should give the impetus.
Wow. I mean, this is really, as you said it, maybe spending that many years must have given you so much of ownership on the money that you're going to invest in your business. But let me ask, right? When, being in a job, whether we like it or not, it creates a comfort zone. And especially, I know in Dubai, because I was there for 13 years, when you are actually kind of looking into, a bank and a job, it creates a comfort zone. How difficult or maybe easy for you to move from a job back into the, the entrepreneurship?
Very interesting question. So let me tell like this. When I answer this question, don't misunderstand me. There are a lot of things. I am a true blue Indian in the sense I have always wanted to be in my country and never go abroad and work, because I believe that my talent and my work, however hard it might be to come up, that is required in my country more rather than going abroad and working. Now, this has been there all the time. Even when I went to Dubai, I knew it was surely a short stint, and yes, it was completely money oriented. But frankly speaking, the comfort zone that we were in. I was working with the Emirates National Bank of Dubai, quasi-government company, SME. It's like our state bank, yeah. And my wife was working with the Emirates Airlines. She was with the engineering division. So traveling the world, there was a lot of comforts that we were so used to in Dubai. But the drive was much more than just this. Because when I started dreaming, there are a couple of things that you need to know. For example, a dream, it can be whimsical, it can be idle, but if the dream is not mixed with the right ambition, a concentrated, dedicated effort, it actually is like daydreaming. It is rhetorical daydream. Because once you have a dream, you have a goal, and you have an ambition, I call it, that is what you call dare to dream.
Yeah.
So if you have to dare to dream, then it has to be the right mix of dream, which actually lets you, gives you that feel, that overwhelming feel whenever you think about it. And it has to be mixed with the right ambition, because ambition is a very dangerous word, but it has to be mixed with the right ambition and the goal, a defined goal. So if those three things are mixed well, that is what is daring to dream.
Wow.
So answering your question, yes, I left a lot of comforts. My pay was, I was doing pretty well in my job, and even my wife was doing pretty well in my job. So from there, and then, yes, I come from a good family with fortunate background, and but the whole sense of pride in actually starting up and growing, this was already there in my mind. So I left all that behind when I started my dream. It was absolutely like a startup. It was literally like, you wouldn't believe, I used to sit with my carpenter on the floor and carve out what we call the molds. So whenever we make a new furniture, we actually take the A1, A2 print, and then we take the print and then we extrapolate that on a cardboard sheet to find out how exactly it might actually look when you make it. So I have sat with my carpenter on the floor with a chisel and hammer and tried to carve out that thing so that, I could understand the process as well, because, learning the job is what would give me a higher insight onto making a beautiful piece of furniture. So I had to start with that. I had to learn that. So it was all that. I mean, the struggle that we went through is what would define us is the confidence that we had.
So yes, I can totally understand that. The kind of comfort zone that especially Dubai produces is a lot more higher. Tell me about the situation that, is the fire accident that happened in your career, which is one of the toughest thing that you told me.
It was June 18, 2018. And around 12, I think early morning, 12:30, I get a call from my neighbor. So my factory neighbor, the neighbors who are around the factory. So they call me. We call it a workshop. We don't call it a factory, we call it the workshop. So right next to the workshop, we have neighbor calling and say, Nimish, where are you? So I said, at 12:30 you're calling, and where do you think I'd be, brother? So he says, Nimish, I need to tell you something. I was watching a movie, I think, at that time. So he's like, don't panic. I have to tell you something. The factory is on fire. I'm like, I didn't tell him. I was stuck. All of a sudden, my face went off. My wife was there. She said, what happened? So we were both watching a movie at that. And she said, I said, the factory is on fire. Around 7-8 projects were running at the same time, and almost all of them were high-scale projects. Because of which, the raw material buildup was so high at that particular point of time. Now, we burn charcoal during rainy season so that whenever you put sealer on top of the wood, it doesn't make that white precipitation on top. So it's cold. So in order to avoid that, we burn charcoal, and we actually have a charcoal pit where you put it and then there's the water and stuff like that. And then you, at small negligence, or, you call it whatever, a fire started and this became big. Now, 2016, and as I said, 2016, when we went rock bottom in 2018, we were doing amazingly well. We were doing very well at that point in time. And we had started rebuilding our factory and stuff like that into a different environment. So that is when the whole thing is happening. Entire factory got cut down. Machines, none of the machines were reusable. Stocks completely burned off. Luckily, one of the sheds where the final finished products were kept, that didn't catch fire. Now, that is where this happening on June 18th, and the house, the inauguration of the house, the Alapi project was on, I think, 12th of July. We hardly had not even 20 days to complete it. From then till September 29th, all these 8 projects, one by one, were to be completed. So you should imagine,
Tell me, what was going on at that time in your mind, and, what
first thing that
bounce back?
So all these fire engines were here, or 4-5 fire engines, and all of a sudden, all these happened. One of my neighbors came in and said, "You should be more careful. The fire is, the fire is engulfing the whole place." And I'm looking, and I'm standing there, and I have nothing to do. So I'm standing there, folded arms, looking at it, and a million thoughts are running in my mind. A million thoughts, obviously, at that point of time. So I have that. There was this. Some police guys were there, senior police officers were there, some senior fire officers were there. They're all standing next to me. They're like afraid whether I would jump in. They were like covering me and standing. And I'm like, why are they doing it? Sir, as I said, there was like a million thoughts running. And all of a sudden, this guy comes in and says, you should have been careful. And I said, see, uncle, tomorrow 11 o'clock, I would come to your house. Whatever you want to say, I'll listen to it. But as of now, I would want to watch my efforts burning down. This is not just my effort. This is my father's effort, my grandfather's effort. And I think as of now, I would want to peacefully see it burning out. I have no idea how those words came in. And trust me, those words are what actually made me peaceful. I mean, in fact, I should have actually got angry with that particular gentleman, but then I still don't hold a grudge. I didn't get angry. I actually went the next day, 11 o'clock, and met him. That's the best part. And, but that statement kind of made me peaceful because I realized that it's gone anyways. At 7 o'clock in the morning, workers started coming and I said, "Sir, now what?" So the kind of despair I saw in their faces got me shaken out. And I'm like, no, we'll manage this. So the first thing, again, my legal advisors were there, my chartered accountants, they're all sitting, and then my house is my father's house is nearby. They're like, what is the next step? How do we survive this? Let us now call the police, file an FIR, and let's call the insurance guys and then do this and then that. Then I realized that is when I actually realized that my insurance for the factory, right, was for a very, at that point of time, that factory is around 20 years old, in the sense of the rebuilding of the factory happened just 20 years back. So almost all of the machines have been depreciated in terms of book value, right? So what I have been renewing the insurance, which was taken 20 years back. Yeah. So if I had to actually claim it, I would have, even if I get something out of it, that would have been so low, right? To rebuild the factory after 20 years would be such a, it's nothing. For example, 42 lakhs is what the whole place was insured for. And my book value of my stock was close to around, of raw materials alone was more than 1 crore. Oh, so bringing perspectives into place. So there's no meaning in thinking of just accepting a suggestion wherein. So then I called the insurance guys and said, how does this stand? They said, no, you're not amply insured, and your insurance might, the value of whatever you might get is very low. So they started telling me all that, and I immediately on that very day I said, so I called the police, said we'll give you everything was on book, so we didn't have any worries in terms of the legal side of the legal side was very well covered. So then it was the call that I had to take. I immediately said, no, we are not claiming the insurance. So everybody said, what are you saying? You've paid premium for so long and you're not claiming it. I said, if I have to claim this insurance, then I have to close down my factory for so long. I have the evidence taking and then this and that. And then, that's such a long process that I need to go through. Plus, the electricity board would have cut my power line. Now, if I have to get this, then I have to go to the chief electrical inspectorate. And there's a lot of, the work that I would have to do if I go formal about the whole thing was so high.
Yeah.
So I instantly said, forget the insurance. Forget formal. Fire. Been legally covered. Period. That's it. Let's start. Immediately we called in a bulldozer. We bulldozed the entire one shed was. We found that the shed had a thatched cover, metallic thatched cover. So we said we used flex, used flex, which was banned in Kerala at that point of time. So there was a lot of piles of huge used flex lying around with scrap dealers. I said, go to a scrap dealer, get used flex. So went to a scrap dealer, and those billboards, huge billboards would be there. So we got those flex. We put those flexes up on the thatched warehouse, on top of the thatch. We climbed on thatch and then we tied it down. We bulldozed the entire shed out with all the rubble that it was into the next shed. We bulldozed that entire thing into the next shed and cleaned it out. We put water over it and cleaned the entire place out. And DeWalt, we pull in DeWalt portable machines. My house, neighbors, everybody helped us. Recharging was done in their houses. Now we had a generator, but the problem with the generators are when the machines the power that is needed to start off is so high that the ample energy was only used from the generators. I had to bring in a bigger generator, but there's no space. There's such a lot of ruble in the entire vicinity. There's no space to keep a generator. So charging was done here and there. my team was all covered in black. All our hands, our press and all would be covered in black. So all of them sitting in laptops and working on whichever pile of stone that was there or some ruble, put a sheet on top of the ruble and start working on it. So some of the material we moved over to the sites and started working out there. So what we did, that's what I was telling you earlier. At that point of time, it was the team that actually gave me the courage. They stood strong. They said, no, sir, we'll do it. Don't worry. You just tell us how to do it. I said, let's do it. Let's go this way. Let's start off. God's grace, He has never left my side at any point in time. We completed every single project on the date allocated to us. Not a single day delayed. Every single project was delivered on time. We delivered our furniture on time. We delivered those projects on time. And I think that was largely because the enabling of the team, the strength that we built through all the ups and downs that we went together. And third, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but I believed in my dream. Every time I said, you know what, I can think of anything at that point of time, leave it, go off to do something. Because that's all. I mean, my entire factory is off. Yeah. Within 6 months, we managed every single monetary, every single effort. Within 6 months, we rebuilt. We had 3 phases of rebuilding. We did the phase 1 rebuilding with all primary infrastructure back into effect, including panel processing. We have a joinery as well as a carpentry unit. Every single thing was put in place. We even had a gallery on top of the furniture. We never had a gallery inside our workshop. We even built 2 layers. We actually made the entire first floor. We built an entire first floor where we actually made a gallery for all the furniture. So there was a gallery, there was this workshop underneath. So in 6 months' time, we rebuilt it, the entire place. And on, I think, December 18th, we had our the blessing. We call it the blessing. We blessed the first phase of our workshop. Now, again, it wasn't easy. Yeah, trust me, it was never easy. Not a day, I still remember, not a day went by without my clothes getting black on those 6 months.
You seem to be holding tight. 1, you having your dream. 2, actually everybody is becoming part of the dream is something really huge. And I'm seeing it in the way that, like you said, right, not that we just bounce back, but we just bounce back much bigger than what you were before.
You needn't be the most brightest and the most intelligent and the most luckiest person around to be an entrepreneur. All you need to be a good entrepreneur is a good concept, the courage to dream, the dareness to dream, to be persistent, to work hard, and to love your people. If these 5 things are in place, anyone can be an entrepreneur. Courage of mind is all you need to start.
I see even the passion in you when you're actually explaining this, and you are a true example of all these ingredients which are put up into you, Nimish. And I'm really also so congratulate your team in bouncing back the kind of effort that they put in, because as much as they're doing all this effort, they're bringing up, an inspiration through you, about the entrepreneurship, or even the purpose of the whole show itself is to simplify the entrepreneurship. And you did it so beautifully with those 5 points. So I want to say a big thanks to you, Nimish, for actually being part of this show and sharing all your real life. It's kind of nerve-wracking. That's what I should say. Because when you say, it's going down, it's like really, in reality, it could have been really painful that you went through. But the way that you explained...
it's always like, you always question yourself, why me? God, why me? I mean, that's something that everybody says, why me? Because 2018, we had fires. 2009, we had Kerala was having the floods, the great floods in 2019. 2020, we had Corona. 2021, again, we have Corona. So why me is a question that I can ask. But trust me, every single phase of this has given us a growth. In 2018, when we had the fire, we actually restructured ourselves. We expanded ourselves. We actually strengthened ourselves. 2019, when we had the floods, we changed the dimensions of the business. How the business is being done. We changed the dimension so that even if something happens, how can we cover it up? In 2020, when Corona started, we started merging. We started merging with 2 or 3 firms. We merged with an architectural firm. We started off with, we have another unit in Trishul. So we started off with an economical range of furniture. So we've been growing every single time a challenge was thrown at us. We kept growing. I mean, and I really don't know. And I really don't know if it is called luck. No, but I would say it is not luck. It is just being persistent. I'm persistent. Some people know me for my guts. They say you have a nasty guts, but it is not guts. It is my faith in what I want to do. When I trust in something and I have faith in something I do, I can't stop. I mean, I say I am not me if I stop because of something. I believe in what I do.
It's a true inspiration as I see it, Nimish. It is just that I'm really hoping the audience and the next generation is going to take a lot of inspiration from your story on right from how you moved from a professional career, or you created a professional career just to build the capital and then be in the, making a lot of advancements into your really 60-year-old business, and how you actually took every challenge as a growth opportunity and grow to this size. And audience, it's up to you now. If you have found out any biggest takeaway, make sure to comment below and make sure to like and subscribe and share with every single person out there where this message can make an impact. Otherwise, thank you once again, Nimish. And
thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Young Indians and Confederation of Indian Industries, for having given me this chance to brag, guys. But my whole idea of bragging was to tell you all that anyone can do it. If I have done it, anyone can do it. It's all about your confidence in yourself, the strength of your mind, the belief, and the most important, dare to dream, guys. Dare to dream.
That's the biggest message. That's the biggest message. And thank you, Nimish. And me and Nimish also says thanks to you for tuning into the video. And I'll see you again next week. But till then, thank you and bye-bye.